When we have questions that have multiple operations, so for example, this one that has an addition, a multiplication, a subtraction, sometimes we may not know what we have to do first, and we may think that we just do them in the order that we see them. But unfortunately, they all give us different answers. If we start with the addition, we get an answer. If we start with the subtraction, we get an answer. If we start with the multiplication, we get a different answer. So technically, if you have three people do this question and three people do it differently, one person may end up with a 70, another person may end up with a 24, another person may get a 62, and not all of these are correct. There's only one right answer. And so this is why we have BEDMAS, which are rules to help us or guide us in terms of the order of the operation. So what do we need to do first and second and third so that we can all follow them, and this way we can always get the same answer. And some people use a different acronym. They'll use something called Pemdas, but it takes us to the same thing. So today we're going to learn about BEDMAS, and B stands for brackets, E for exponents, D for division, M for multiplication, A for addition, and S for subtraction. When we have a division and a multiplication, we'll do them in the order that they come in, so from left to right. So if we have two of these in an equation or in a question, we're going to do them from left to right. So whichever comes first is the one that we're going to tackle first. If we have an addition and subtraction, same thing. We're going to deal first with the one that comes first. So let's start with this question that we have here. We've got 4 plus 2 times 3 minus 2. So if we follow BEDMAS, we start with brackets. Do we have any brackets in our question? Nope, there's no brackets, so we can ignore that. We then move to the E for exponents. Do we have any exponents? Nope, there's no exponents. Now we've got D and M, division and multiplication. Well, we don't have a division in this question, but we do have a multiplication. So that means we got to start with our multiplication. So our 4, we're going to leave as is, right there. And we're going to do our multiplication first. So 20 times 3 is 60. So we put our 60 right here, and we continue with our question, minus 2. The best thing to do is to always go step by step, line by line, so you don't get lost along the way. Then now we've got an addition and a subtraction. So we said that when we have addition and subtraction, we're going to do them in order of whichever comes first on the left. So we've got the addition comes first, so we're going to take care of that, and we're going to go 4 plus 60 gives us a 64. We put the minus 2 right here. And now we move on to the next step. So we're going to go in steps till we get to the end. And now we can do our subtraction. It's 64 minus 2. We end up with 62. And so out of all these, 62 was the right answer because we follow BEDMAS to get to the right result. Let's practice a few more questions. Our next one is 12 plus 36 divided by 4. So we're going to follow BEDMAS because that is the order of operations that we should be following. So we start with B for bracket, but we don't have any brackets, so we don't have to worry about that. So we move on to the next one. E for exponents. Do we have any exponents on this question? No, no exponents there. Then we've got D for division. Oh, wait a second, we do have a division right here, so we can actually get started with that. So we bring down our 12. We're not going to do anything to our 12 because we're going to start with our division first. Okay, what's 36 divided by 4? Okay, well, the answer is 9. Now we can go ahead and add and move that over to our next line right here. So 12 plus 9 is 21. Perfect. Okay, what about this one? We've got 56 divided by 7 times 5 plus 6. So again, we look at BEDMAS, and we're going to look at the order of operations. B for brackets, which we don't have any. E for exponents. Again, we don't have any exponents here. We've got division and multiplication. So in this case, we have division and multiplication. And we said when we have division and multiplication on the same equation, we're going to do them in the order from left to right. So what comes first? the division came first. So we're going to take care of the division first. So 56 divided by 7 is 8. Okay, so we have an 8, and then we continue to write out our equation. Okay, now we move on to the next step. Okay, so when we look at BEDMAS, we still have a multiplication and an addition. So when we look at BEDMAS, what comes first? Well, the multiplication comes before any addition, so we're going to take care of the multiplication. So 8 times 5 is 40. Write down our 40, and let's write again our 6. Don't leave any numbers behind. Okay, now 40 plus 6 equals 46. Great. Okay, what about this one? So we've got 4 plus 2 inside a bracket plus 3 times 2. Okay, so let's look at BEDMAS. And when we look at BEDMAS, what is the first letter that we see? B for bracket. And this is what it means. We've got a bracket right here. So it doesn't matter what's inside that bracket, whether it's a multiplication, a subtraction, a division, or an addition, like we have right here, 4 plus 2. Bracket comes first. So we're going to take care of what's inside the bracket first. What's 4 plus 2? 4 plus 2 is 6. Now we put our 6 there, and we can continue to write out our equation. Okay, so when we look at BEDMAS, what comes next? Addition or multiplication? Well, we see that our multiplication comes before any addition or subtraction. So let's take care of our multiplication right here. We bring down our 6, because we're not doing anything with it yet. We bring down our operation, and 3 times 2 equals 6. There we go. Notice how we bring down the operation as well as the number. Okay, what's 6 plus 6? 6 plus 6 is 12. So that's how we get those questions. Now we're going to try some more, because we're going to try some that get a little bit more difficult than these ones. Okay, we're now going to do some questions that have some exponents and brackets in there, so that we know what we're supposed to do. So again, we continue to follow our BEDMAS rules. Okay, so we've got here 6 plus 7 squared, or 7 to the exponent of 2, inside a bracket, plus 1. Okay, so it's getting a little bit more challenging. So let's look at our BEDMAS acronym. And what is the first letter? Brackets. Okay, so that tells us that we're going to get started with this section, anything inside the bracket. But the BEDMAS rules still apply inside the bracket. So now that we know we're going to be working on whatever's inside the bracket, we still need to follow BEDMAS. So inside the bracket, what is going to come first? We've got 6 plus 7 squared. Well, we know that if we follow BEDMAS, exponents comes first. That means that inside the bracket, the first thing that we're going to take care of is this exponent right here. So let's get started. And in this case, we're going to keep our bracket because we're not done solving it yet. So we're going to bring our 6 because we're not doing anything with the 6 yet. And we're leaving our addition operation because we didn't get there yet. We're going to take care of this exponent. So 7 to the power of 2 is the same thing as 7 times 7. So we multiply that number by itself, twice. So 7 times 7, which is 49. Okay. And everything else, you see, we're bringing it down because we're not doing anything with it yet. So we got to keep bringing it with us. Okay, now we look at BEDMAS, and BEDMAS tells us, okay, we still have a bracket. And before we do anything with this addition at the end, we need to take care of the bracket. So what is 49 plus 6? Well, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55. So we've got 55. And bring this one down, plus 1. So our answer is 56. Great. Okay, let's look at this one now. So we've got 40 plus 5 squared minus 7 times 4. So we follow BEDMAS. We don't have any brackets, but what's the next thing on the acronym? We've got E for exponents. Do we have any exponents? Yeah, we've got an exponent right here. It's 5 to the power of 2, or 5 squared. So that is the first thing that we're going to tackle. So we leave our 40, that's at the front, We're not doing anything yet with it. And we're going to bring our addition operation, because we're not there yet. We're taking care of the exponent. So 5 squared is the same thing as 5 times 5, which is 25. And everything else stays the same. We're just going to bring it with us so that we can decide what's going to be the next step. Okay, next line. So we look at our equation, and based on BEDMAS rules, what would come next? Well, based on BEDMAS rules, multiplication comes before addition and subtraction. So we're going to take care of that, which means that we just carry everything else with us until we get to it. Okay? All right, we're doing the multiplication. So what's 7 times 4? 28. Okay. And we come to the next line. Okay? So we said that when we're dealing with addition and subtraction, we got to do it the way that it follows in terms of left to right. So 40 plus 25 equals 65. Okay? So we bring our 65 and we take away our 28 right here. Okay, so we've got 65 minus 28, which gives us, let me see here, 6 minus 2, that's 4, 37. Okay, so 65 minus 28 is 37. And our last one, 3 plus 4 inside a bracket square minus 32. So notice how this is not the same as the first question that we did here, because the square, the power, the exponent, is outside of the bracket. So this means that if we look at BEDMAS, bracket comes first. Anything inside the bracket comes first. So in this case, our addition inside the bracket comes first. Then our exponent. See, over here, the exponent was inside of the bracket, so we had to apply the BEDMAS rules inside the bracket. But in this case, the exponent is outside the bracket, so we need to take care of the bracket first. And in the bracket, we have a 3 plus 4, which equals 7. And now we have the square on the 7, because that was the result of what we had inside the bracket. And so suppose that we had the 7 inside a bracket still, the 2 squaring it, okay, minus 32. Okay, all right, so applying our BEDMAS rules, what comes next? A subtraction or an exponent? Well, our exponent comes first. So 7 times 7 is 49 minus 32. Okay, so now we can subtract, and that would be 17. 49 minus 32 is 17. So no matter what we do, we need to follow BEDMAS rules, and we will always get it right at the end. My advice is always go line by line. Don't miss a step. Don't get lazy. Just keep carrying them down. Because if you skip a line or you skip a number or try to do too much in one line, you're more likely to get it wrong because you're going to forget something. So it's just go step by step until you get to the end.